Hello, everyone, and welcome to Consciousness is Sexy. I'm your host, Patty Alfonso, and holy gamoles, do I have some stuff for you guys today. My energy is a little bit lower than usual. I'm actually in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I just attended a week-long retreat with Matthew Hussey and his amazing team. And I wanted to talk a little bit about and share a little bit with you guys about what this experience has been for me. And first of all, I want to talk about expectations and what that is and what that creates and how that can, I'm just going to check just 1 second. My front end here, I'm a little discombobulated. We literally just got out of the retreat. So, okay. So what if you didn't have any expectations is the question that I'm posing today in this show. And most of you know you've been watching. So I recently got back from Dubai and from Egypt, and it was an absolutely amazing, amazing trip. And when I got back, I walked into the apartment and my sister was like, I'm going to go to Matthew's retreat again. She's actually been several times. And I looked at her and I was like, I want to go. And she was like, you should come. And I was like, and I looked at the energy of it. I perceived the energy of that. And it was light. It was just light. And if you've watched my show before, then you know that I'm all about following the energy. And what is light and expansive is what is true for you and what is going to create more for you. And what is heavy and a contraction is something that you shouldn't choose. But anyway, the point was that it was light. And now my sister's been attending this retreat, and I have been watching her really change over the last couple of years. And I know I bitch about her sometimes. You know, it's family. Shit happens, whatever. But she's my sister, and I love her. And watching her change and blossom has made me really curious about who this Matthew Hussey guy is and what this retreat thing is. But you know, I'm a busy woman, so I didn't really go onto YouTube too much and watch his videos or anything like that. So, but anyway, I'm watching her shift and change, and I'm watching her use those tools, and I'm like, wow, good for her. That's awesome. So I'm like, I really want to go on this retreat. And some of you know that it's been a bit of a kind of rough patch for me in the last 6 months, and I've been going through a lot of changes, and I've been really open with a lot of that on this show. And so when I was in Dubai, and I finally got sort of back to this sense of me, you know, the fun, funny, happy, joyful me that I truly be, which was a complete contrast to the trauma, drama, dreary me that I had been choosing in the months before I went to Dubai. And so saying yes to the retreat for me was something about, like, I knew that there was something else that I needed to shift and change. And the things that I had been choosing weren't quite working, but I had this sense of like who I truly be and who I had been choosing to be. And I had the sense that something else was required. And when I perceived the energy of the event, and there was something there for me, so I just said yes. And I didn't have any kind of expectations about the event itself. I didn't really know much about Matthew Hussey. My sister had been very tight-lipped about what the event was and what we did at the event. And so I really just didn't have a chance to create expectations, because I also signed up kind of at the last minute, and before I knew it, here I was. And so people kept asking me like, oh, what do you want to get out of the event? And I was like, you know what? I don't know. I have no expectations about what's going to happen. I have no expectations about the material that's going to be shared. I have no expectations about who I'm going to meet. I don't know. I just know that I'm here, and I'm here to receive whatever it is that I'm here to receive. Because I do know that I'm here to receive something. And so if you're not really familiar about what it is exactly that I mean about an expectation, it's like when you project that you're going to get something out of something, whether it is that you have an expectation that a person is going to behave a certain way, or you have an expectation about what you're going to get out of a certain event, or you have an expectation about what your food is going to taste like when you order it, or you have an expectation of, I think I ordered some food somewhere at some point, and I had this idea of how I thought it was going to show up. And when it got to me, it wasn't that at all. So I had already ruined like my how do you say, I had already ruined the food. I hadn't even tasted it yet, but because it didn't look like what I thought it was going to look like, it was already ruined. I had an expectation about it, and when it didn't show up that way, it was ruined. And so having no expectations about what this event was, for me, created the space for me to be totally present with every single moment of the event. And I have to tell you that I was delightfully surprised in every single moment. Now, I have to give credit to Matthew and his team, and they have worked tirelessly to create an event that is absolutely amazing. Amazing. Every single detail is cared for. And I mean truly cared for. You can perceive the energy of the team and the caring that they have for what they're creating and the gifts that they are being to everyone that is showing up for the event. And that was definitely not something that I had expected. And yet I was so delightfully surprised when I perceived it and when I was present to it. And I really, truly received a deep level of caring and healing that I don't think I really knew it was possible. I did watch one of Matthew Hussey's videos, actually, now that I'm kind of looking at this, and he did a video with his brother, and you can find it on his YouTube channel. And if you don't know who he is, I really, really highly recommend to go to his YouTube channel, Google Matthew Hussey. He's got tons of videos. His brother has tons of information as well to share. And anyway, they created this video about men, and when I watched this video, I was like, those men exist in the world? Like, really? And that actually had piqued my interest enough to desire to come to the event. Anyway, I feel like I'm rambling. What's my point here? Expectations. When we create expectations about something, you're literally cutting off the energy of everything that you can receive. And another one of the greatest gifts that I got from this weekend was the healing and the shifts between the relationship between me and my sister, which I'm actually really looking forward to playing with over the next, however long we end up staying in the same place at the same time. But you know what? That's an expectation as well. So everything that is, I'm going to destroy and uncreate it. Anyway, there were so many delightful surprises during this event. And I actually had a quick conversation with Matthew as we were all saying goodbye. And there was one particular tool during the event that was another surprise that I asked him if I could share with all of you. And we had a little conversation about it. And he said yes, that I could share this tool with you guys on the show. And I'm really excited about sharing this with you. And I promised him that I would share it in a way that would be a contribution for everyone. So I do hope that what I'm about to tell you will be a contribution to you, because it's actually, I think it's going to be a tool that I'm going to implement a lot. And that is going to change a lot of stuff for me. And what I realized was that I had already been using this tool. I just didn't know that it was this particular tool. So now I actually have words to kind of put with something that was actually new. And it ties into what I was talking about in the beginning of the show, which was this sort of trauma drama that I was choosing, this very sad, pathetic Patty that I was choosing, that when I got to Dubai, I really truly realized that it wasn't me. And okay, so the tool that he talked about, and he talked a little bit about how people push our buttons in our lives, and situations push our buttons in a way that have like a sort of maybe a reaction that you don't really want to have, or it creates an energy that you don't really want to create. Like a lot of my buttons had been pushed in a not so comfortable way, and I was allowing those buttons to be pushed in a way that it wasn't creating a lot for me personally. And so I'm sure you guys are all can get that sense of like when someone pushes your buttons and it creates something that's not pleasant, and that eventually doesn't create anything for you and for your life. So Matthew talked about creating your own buttons for you that actually create lightness and expansion for you, rather than, you know, creating trauma and drama. And so what I realized was that I had one of these buttons that I gained while I was in Dubai. And I didn't even realize it until we started playing and he started talking about this particular tool. And so um, basically, it's about creating buttons for yourself that actually create that lightness, expansiveness for you, that will actually create more for you, rather than being at the effect of people pushing your buttons in a negative way. And I just want to show you what my button is, because I realized that I now have a button for the joy of living, a button to remind me of the pleasures of this world, a button to remind me about the me that I desire to be in this world, a button to remind me of the lightness and the joy and the expansiveness of me, a button to remind me about the life that I desire to create. And if you're my friend on Facebook, you may have seen this picture, and I'm just going to put it up here. Hopefully you guys can see it. So this is a picture of me. And I may have talked about this in one of my shows. This is a picture of me on a camel in front of the pyramids of Giza. And I'm going to zoom in on the look on my face. Okay. So here's look at my face. Like that is who I desire to be in the world. That joyful, generative, expansive being that I know I actually truly be. And so ever since I had gotten back from Dubai and from Cairo, and it was actually my friend Catherine McIntosh who had pointed out the energy of this photo. She's like, Patty, that photo, like, that is who you be. That is how I know you to be. And I was like, oh my God, when I'm not being that, I know that I'm not really truly being me. And so this picture is from now on going to be my button to remind me of the joy of living, and to remind me of the pleasures of this reality, of like enjoying my body, of being grateful. Oh my gosh, am I like not so grateful in this picture? I really hope you can see it. I'm not sure about the lighting. So that's actually the tool. Like, I want to invite all of you to maybe think of a time in your life when you were being that joyful, generative, life is awesome energy. Like, how often do you allow yourself to just really enjoy life and be joyful? And look, I get it that shit fucking happens. I fucking get it. I've been through it. And that shit does not have to define what you desire to create in your life. And I have actually been using this picture since I got back from Dubai. When I look at this picture, I immediately get the energy of that moment. I get the energy of sitting on that camel, of having, trekked through the desert with the fucking sun on my skin and the wind blowing through my hair and the energy of the pyramids and the people that I was with and the joy that I got, like sitting there allowing my body to move, differently than I had ever moved. If you've ever ridden a camel, it's really different than riding a horse, and your body just moves in a totally different way. And moving my body in that way had actually created the release of all of that crap that I had been holding in my body from the freaking crap that I had been focusing on. Because that's what happens. Someone pushes your buttons, or your buttons get pushed, and you're triggered in a way that is not a contribution, and somewhere in the like neuro pathways of your brain, you loop in that insanity. And what would it take to have a button that can trigger the joys of your life and the joys of living? Like, how much fucking better is that? I'm cussing a lot, I get it, but I'm actually really, really passionate about this particular tool that I have just learned. And so I want to invite you to find that for yourself. And maybe you can't find that in your memories or in your past or something like that. So what would it take to have so much present moment awareness, right? That from this moment forward, you start really paying attention to what you're creating in your life. And Matthew talked about this. He talked about, like, if you're walking along one day and you're just like loving life in that particular moment, and we've all had these moments where like everything is amazing and you love your life and you're loving everything around you and you're receiving from the entire earth and from nature and from the molecules, and you're just happy. And so in that moment, when you're having that moment, stop and take a moment and notice, okay, can this be like a button for me for the joy of living? And really take a moment and tune into every single energy that's happening right then and there. And I'm going to leave it at that. And if you would like to know more about that particular button, I think I'm going to have to invite you to come to one of Matthew Hussey retreats. And if you watch a lot of his videos, he talks a lot about, and he gives a lot of tools on like how to talk to men and how to get the guy and all this stuff that, quite honestly, I wasn't really interested in learning about. Because in these 10 seconds, although I know that I do desire to create a relationship at some point, right now what I desire to create is with my business. And I actually have just found out that I also desire to create, I desire to invite more people into my life, like more of a variety of people into my life. So that's actually something else that I got from this weekend, which was a total surprise, because I'm usually like, I hate people and people are such a pain in the ass. But then I realized that that point of view was creating my reality around the people that I was allowing into my life. And I'm done with that. So, anyway, I totally lost my train of thought. Let me see if there's any questions in the group at the moment. I don't think that there's any questions right now. There is a comment from my beautiful friend Tara, who I'm very grateful to have in my life. And she said, "Oh my God, your energy is so different." Yes, thank you so much. I do feel really different. And I want to, one last thing. What time is it? We're good on time. Okay. One last thing that I became aware of. Let me see if I can actually find the words to convey. So I've been in personal development for about 10 years. And I've been to a lot of programs and classes, and I've been really lucky to have a lot of amazing, amazing teachers. And one of the things that I actually learned about myself this weekend as well was my willingness to continue learning and my willingness to be open to all of the possibilities that are available, and my willingness to continue learning, to continue creating. And I guess what I want to say is that if you are in a place in, there's a question, I will get to it in a second. If you are in a place where you know that there's something more available, um, keep going, keep searching, keep asking questions. Um, because there's something out there for everyone. And there are so many amazing people who are dedicating their lives to contributing to the lives of others. Yes, there are insane people doing that too, but there are amazing, kind, caring people who are choosing to do that. And whether it's me or the Tools of Access Consciousness or Matthew Hussey or Tony Robbins or I don't know, the myriads of teachers and people that are out there that have something to offer, just open up to everyone and receive from everyone. And you take what you like and you leave the rest and just keep moving forward. Keep choosing, keep asking questions. If you're feeling stuck, just ask, wow, universe, what else is possible here? What else is possible? Who else can I, reach out to that would be a contribution to me in this moment? Because there's something out there for everyone. There is something out there for everyone. Okay, so let's see. Oh, Safia says hi from Middle England. Hi, maybe you know Matthew Hussey. And Jean-Marc says that he loves the joy button. Yeah. And how many other buttons can you create for yourself? What is it that you require to kind of give you that extra little umph of energy that you require? And I would just invite you to maybe, check out some of Matthew Hussey's videos and see what else is available there. So unless anyone else has any other questions, I guess I'll leave you with letting go of your expectations, letting go of your projections. That's going to open up a whole new world. And I think, we did last week or one week, we talked about family. And I do have a call coming up about being you around your family that I would love for you to be on. But what if you could let go of your expectations of your family and have zero expectations? See, when you have zero expectations, you really can't be disappointed. You can't be let down. It's not possible. Because you don't have any expectations about how someone is going to behave or what they're going to do or what they're going to choose or what they're going to say. I had zero expectations of this event this weekend. And it, I was going to say, it exceeded my expectations. Of course it did, because I didn't have any. I didn't have any. I came here totally open. No barriers, no boundaries. I came here totally open to receive whatever was going to be available. And I did. And you know what? It's not like I loved everybody on the retreat. I came across a couple of people that I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to go over here now. I'm going to go be with my joy over here. Okay, but it didn't have an effect on my experience. I was like, oh, okay, and I actually mentioned it to my sister, and I was talking to her about how I've had this insane point of view that like most people are mean and they're crazy, and I don't want, I went into this just like cocoon because I didn't want to be around people. And she's like, yeah, Patty, but like that one person. So you're making this generalization that like everyone is, insane. And yes, there are insane people in the world, but there are also kind, caring, amazing people in the world. And I'm just going to make the demand right now for more of those kinds of people to show up in my life. More, 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 more. Like just more. I will have more of that. And I think that I got really lucky to meet a lot of those people this weekend. And how does it get better than that? My lips are doing this, like, I wonder, have you ever done that? Anyway, I think I'm going to end the show with that. Yeah, I'm just being silly. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm so grateful for all of you that show up here every week with me, and I will continue to show up for you, and I'll continue to share tools with you that you can use in your life to create more for you and for your life, because that's actually my target, is to empower you so that you can live the greatest life that you know is possible. And these aren't really tools that we're given when we're little. Some people I think are lucky and they do get that kind of upbringing. I know that I didn't, and so that's what got me searching, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that, because if I didn't have every single moment that I've had in my life, I would not be sitting with you right here, right now. And this moment is pretty fucking awesome. And I wonder what else is possible and what else it is that I can create in this world. Anyway, I adore you all. I'm super grateful. I will see you next week, and hopefully I will see you somewhere around the globe. Have a good one, everyone. Mwah. Bye.